Hello everyone, it's Kat and today I am filming an old school full face tutorial, get ready with me style, using all MAC products. This was such a common thing that I'd see back in the day, like early YouTube days of like the early 2010s, but people don't do it anymore. I also think that people are scared to feature MAC too much because no doubt whenever you feature MAC in a video, there's people in the comments that are like, you shouldn't be supporting MAC because they're not cruelty free and they test on animals. Like, they don't test on animals. They sell in China who test on animals. If you're clicking on a video to shout at me about MAC, I think you're putting your energy in the wrong place. So that's probably why progress isn't happening as fast as you want. Anyway, let's get on to the products. Now, I love MAC. I'm just going to say, I have gone on the record to say, if I had to choose two brands to pretty much use forever, it would be, one of them would be MAC, because I just feel like across the board, you can find so many cool products. Now to do this video, I actually had to buy a couple of products because specifically in the base department, I don't have any, because the one thing that hasn't really gotten along with me and my skin is actually their foundations. Generally, their concealers aren't too bad, but their foundations I haven't really liked. But I decided to give this one a try simply because it is an all over face pen, which is supposed to be for face and concealer. So I thought I'm two birds with one stone. This packaging is quite interesting. It looks quite high tech. So you take off this lid, you have this small dispenser, which is handy. My shade, by the way, is NW18. Then to unlock it, you have to twist the end. It's good that it's got that lock, so it's not dispensing product if you put it in like a makeup bag. But essentially what you do is you click it and it dispenses like the equivalent of like a small pump. So it's not bad. I just think it's probably a bit of fuss. Okay, I'm gonna start by applying that with a brush. If we need a sponge, we'll get there. This is a little bit too light for me, but we'll make it work. And I just wanna say that I bought this at an outlet kind of thing, so I got it cheap. Their base products are so expensive these days. Yes, you can wait for a sale. I think in Australia, there was recently like a 15 or 20% off site-wide, but they're still so pricey. So I will make a shade work if it means getting it significantly cheaper. Now this does apply really nicely, I have to say. It's applying beautifully with this hourglass brush, which to be fair is a pretty fancy brush. Those two pumps are going to cover my face really well. Hang on, I'll show you applying it a bit closer up. So I do have a lot of redness and whatnot around, it's fine. But just with that sort of tapping motion, you can see that it is covering it really well. It doesn't feel thick. It doesn't feel cakey. It's going to take a little bit on my eyelids because I've got a bit of a dermatitis flare up. You can see it here. So if I just cover a little bit, it's going to make my eyeshadow sort of sit a bit better. So this applied really nicely. What I think I like most about it, it does feel very comfortable. It doesn't feel heavy and thick like some of their other foundations can. And I also like that it is fairly decent coverage, so you can build it up and sort of have it semi like a concealer in areas that you need it, but it does actually blend out quite nicely and quite far. So if you don't want that really high coverage, you can sort of sheer it out a lot more. So it's quite controllable, which is good. I'm actually not gonna set this because I don't have any MAC powder, so we're just gonna go like this and hope for the best. It does feel like it's setting a little bit on its own. There's some dewiness happening as well. But yeah, obviously if you have oily skin, I'd recommend setting it. But I do really like this foundation, and I have to say, it is probably one of the better MAC foundations I've used. In my experience, MAC foundations are either fairly average or they can break me out, like one or the other. Now this doesn't break me out and this is pretty good, but I think for the price point, I can get things that are similar for a lot cheaper. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't go back to buying this, but it does work really nicely. Now, because this is a full face, besides the powder, I am going to go in with a bit of bronzer. Now, I don't actually like bronzing. I find it doesn't really suit my coloring, but I do have this nice one from MAC. This was a limited edition one. It's Beige-ing Beauty, as in like beige-ing, not Beijing, the city, but this is it. So it's a little bit more cool toned. I'm gonna do this really lightly on a MAC brush. Tap off a lot. Again, this is slightly risky because I haven't set my base and it might sort of not blend the best, but let's just put a little bit of color just for the full face factor. There we go. Just a little bit, just a smidge. Beautiful, that's beautiful. Okay, just a little bit. A little bit up here, just a tiny bit. To be fair, I actually love MAC cheek products. Base products, not so much. Cheek products, I love. This is Melba matte blush. I love a peachy matte, and this is the perfect tone. So it's not getting too orange where it can like be off-putting for people. There's a little bit of pink in it. There's a little bit of nude. It's just a really pretty blush. So I'm using that with the same brush. This is doing a little bit of my setting for me. Beautiful color. To be fair, nothing revolutionary about the formula. It's a matte blush and it was formulated a long time ago, so it is just pretty standard, but they do have some really beautiful colors that I think are classic. I'm actually really excited for this. My old school MAC Soft and Gentle Mineralized Skin Finish. One of my first favorite highlighters. I have hit pan on it. This is the old packaging. I refuse to get rid of it. And I know that if I use this up, I'm just going to buy a new one. So I may as well just keep this one. Beautiful. It's a little bit shimmery, like glittery slightly, but I love the color. It's quite neutral on me. So it goes with any blush color. I can use it on a warmer blush. I can use it on a pinky one, a mauvey one, whatever it happens to be. And it tends to look beautiful. I haven't actually used this in a long time. It gives you that wet look effect. It's classic. But if you do look up close, there's a little bit of sparkle. So it might scare off some people, but what I love about it, like I've got fine lines around here and I don't feel like it really emphasizes them too much. I just love it. Beautiful. Gorgeous. That just makes skin look like glass-like. And yes, let's do it. Not for everyone. Don't do it if you don't like it. But I don't mind a bit of highlighter on the tip of the nose. I don't like it on the cupid's bow. Tip of the nose I can handle. Tone it down a little bit because that's a lot. Oh, another thing I love is eye products from MAC, particularly Pro Longwear paint pots. These are fantastic. So this is in the shade Groundwork, so it's a bit of a brown tone. But there are some they have some pretty basic shades, but they work as like a matte cream eyeshadow or like a base, so you can use them however you want. This, for example, is a really beautiful sort of sculpting eyeshadow for me. So I've just got a fluffy brush here, and if I just put it on fairly lightly, it does blend really easily, adds a little bit of color. Taking it up to the crease so I can use it as like the sculpting thing, and this brush is shedding. So that was really easy. A bit of mascara, good to go. Really easy. Can crease a little bit throughout the day, but I just think they're such beautiful products and they stay creamy forever. I've had this for literally years, and I've tried panning them as well, like over a year of daily use. So bang for your buck, MAC paint pots, some of my all-time favorites, and just so easy. So easy. Fluffy brush. Like if I was traveling somewhere, this would be something I'd throw in my travel bag just to like keep things simple. Putting a little bit more on. Okay, I've got two options to go down. I could go boring, where I have a MAC Duo here, where I've got literally just a matte crease color and Woodwinked. I don't know what color this is, I'll have to find out. This is just a shimmery brown that's really pretty. Or we can go a little bit more fun, because I do have a collection of fun Christmas singles that I keep because I just think they're fun. And even though indie brands have made much more fun eyeshadows, for some reason, I just think these are glorious. So this one is Right Before Your Eyes, which has this sort of mauvey base and this sort of green gold shimmer. And then we've got the classic Stylishly Merry. I don't even know why I need to look at that name, because I know it's like a pink to gold micro sparkle, really beautiful. Look, for fun's sake, I'm gonna go this one, and if we struggle with it, like if it's looking too blue or something, what I might do is put a little bit of something else on top of it. But let's just, some everyday sparkle going on. So these are just really pretty. The annoying thing is I find that MAC only release these sort of beautiful sparkly formulations at Christmas. Not all the way through the year, oh no. They save them for Christmas and they charge you extra for them. But they're the things that I keep in my collection. Not only are they fairly easy to store and they last not quite a lifetime, but a long time. They're just fun to reach for occasionally. I have to, if I'm talking about eyeshadows that I love. And I'm just taking a little bit and I'm going to put it on the center here just to change the color there slightly. You're not going to see it super well on camera because this is like a duochrome, so it's hard to sort of get the color shift that it gives, but you can see it just gives this beautiful sort of twinkly effect, and that sort of neutralized just the center a little bit. I will run a little bit of this brown just on the lower lash line. I could go the shimmer, I'm just going to go the matte. I could also use the paint pot just to run on the lower lash line, but we're showing, like, to be fair, MAC single eyeshadows, they're either fantastic or they're absolutely garbage. Like, I'm just going to say, there are going to be some shades that just apply beautifully. They don't need, like, they blend themselves almost. These two are really good. That's why I got them. I just thought I'd make a little duo to have like an easy sort of pairing, like an easy eye that I don't need to think about. They're just, some of them are so beautiful and other ones are so disappointing. Okay, I'm just taking a fluffy brush and some of that into the crease because I feel like it's now lower lid heavy and I haven't sort of finished off the look enough. So just finishing it off and blending that out slightly. You know how I mentioned I love their paint pots, and I do, and I will buy them until the end of time. I will also buy until the end of time their fluid lines. Their fluid lines, the annoying thing is that they bring out certain shades, they discontinue them, and they pretty much only keep like the black one and maybe a brown one or something in stock. But I swear they are the only gel liners that I've been able to use from start to finish without them ever drying out. I can get complete use out of these. This dip brown I probably had for about 5 years. It is still creamy, it's still emollient. I do not need to reach for Duraline and mix it and pray to the gods and hope the stars align that it's going to go on my face. They are magic. They are magic. Now, what I love about gel liners, I also have a MAC liner here. This is a liner brush, sorry, this is 15 years old. I'm not kidding you. It is 15 years old, it is still going, I still use it, slightly frayed, but when you put it in the product, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like, they're just the longevity of these, crazy. So what I love about gel liners is that if you have anything like teary eyes, or you're gonna be out anywhere where you're gonna be sweating a lot, or it's gonna be raining, these do not budge. They are fantastic. They're also more of a mousse consistency, so you can almost sort of blend them in. If you prefer a bit of a smudged effect, you can do a bit of like a blend, get like a pencil brush, do a bit of a blend, and it just sort of can work also a bit like, just got to concentrate, can't talk, a bit like a cream shadow. So you could even use this as a cream shadow and blend it. They just work so well. I also, I think they're not recommended for this, but I haven't had an issue. I also use it on my waterline. So I just run the side of my brush along. Again, it's not budge proof all day this way, but it does work really well. Saves you having to go get a pencil. Matches beautifully. I love it. I did the dreaded thing where I sort of went a bit like different angled with this one because I was sort of looking in a different direction. I just had to bring this one down a bit, and again, because it's that moussey sort of consistency, you can have just the excess of your brush and control how much you use. So I've not actually got much on my brush now. I can just sort of like use it really lightly just to sort of bring it down a little bit so it gives the impression that they're where they're supposed to be. So as someone who has been using MAC since high school, and I am turning 39 in about a month and a half, these, in my opinion, are the best value products you can get. You will get most longevity out of them. They won't go bad. They will stay emollient to the last drop. And I have had fluid lines for like, I want to say close to 10 years that I ended up decluttering because I didn't obviously love the color enough to use it up in 10 years, but they still worked. So yeah. Okay, time for mascara. I ended up buying a pack on sale. I think this was an old Christmas pack with the Macstack mascara and the primer. Now, I mainly wanted this because I thought the primer would be cool to put underneath colored mascara, because I find colored mascara looks cool, but it just doesn't give you much volume. I thought this can give you the volume, and then you can put color over the top. So whatever, that was my thinking behind it. But I have used this before, and I've used one up. Now, they do claim that you can just like keep like putting layers on it to build up the volume. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but I do quite like it as a mascara. It is quite a thickening mascara. However, I haven't used the mascara with the primer, so this is going to be the first time. We'll see how it goes. So I've used this on its own. It's not one that like coats your lashes too white, which is good. So it does add the volume, but it doesn't sort of, you don't then have to have your mascara turn grey or have to worry about like covering all the white spots, because there's a little bit of lightening, but it is just volumizing the lashes. Now the brushes of these are strangely very different. So I didn't even realize. So one, they're both spiky. The primer has a lot finer spikes, and it's got that sort of curved effect. And this one has what looks like a torture device. I think from memory, what I'd used to do with this one was like scrape off some of the excess, because there's a lot that gets caught in the ridges, but let's give it a go. Now what I actually do like about this is I feel like the primer isn't as clumpy as the mascara itself, probably because of the wand. So the combo of the two is enough volume and lengthening for me. We're done. Don't need to do any more. It's done the job for me. I will also be very careful to put this on my lower lashes. It is a bit clumpy for lower lashes, but we can make it work. MAC also have another mascara with a really small wand that is great for lower lashes. I'm not the kind of person that has a mascara for my top lashes and my lower lashes, but if you were a makeup artist or that vibes with you, they do have a really cool one. If I find myself getting chunks, all I do is before they set, I sort of just grab the chunks out of my lashes and then go in just a tiny bit on the tip just to lengthen the tip slightly. I've used MAC brow pencils before, but not this one. This is the Pro Brow Definer in Spiked. So it's a 1mm tip brow pencil. This tip is itty bitty. So if you need to fill in a lot, this is probably not one for you, but if you just want to fill in some hairs, again, great for makeup artists or people that just, maybe you've got like a patch that you want to fill in. Maybe you really like that sort of wispy brow look. I feel like I need to brush that through. It's kind of messy. I'm just doing this very, very lightly as well. So this is a really nice pencil. I like it. Again, I wouldn't do it for my whole brows, but it's my only MAC brow pencil I have, or brow product I have. So that's what we're using, but it looks really good and the color suits me really well. It's got a little spoolie on the end, so we can brush that through just to soften it slightly. If I find I go overboard anywhere, I just sort of go, didn't exist. Tends to brush it really nicely. So good. Like everything on the eyes, I liked. I think the thing I probably liked the least was the mascara, because it is so clumpy and it's harder to use on the lower lash line, but it's still a nice mascara. And it is one of those ones that as you use it up and it gets slightly a bit drier, it gets easier to use. We're at my favorite part. You thought it was the eyes. It's actually the lips. I have quite the collection of MAC lipsticks. I love MAC lipsticks. I don't want to say they can do no wrong, because they can do a lot wrong, but I am always coming back to them. And even when I do declutters and I might like get rid of a shade or two, generally the formulas are really solid. Now I want to say that on my lips I do actually have a MAC product. This is the Squirt Plumping Gloss. So I've had this on for a little while. It's a very, very shiny gloss. So it's one that you only twist up a tiny amount. You put on your lips, but because I'm going to wipe this off, I'm not going to show you, but it's clear. So it looks green, but it's clear. And I'm just going to remove some of this. But I've got so many favorite lipsticks to choose from. It's sort of hard to figure out which one. I'm like fishing in my handbag because I have quite a lot of them. But one that I've been loving a lot recently is this Locked Kiss. So Locked Kiss, I think they had liquid lipstick versions. I prefer the bullet versions. These are long wearing, but this particular shade is stunning. This is Renegade. I love it. Get ready for it. It's just the most beautiful sort of like orange red. It's actually going on a little bit sheerer than normal, believe it or not, because I've got the lip gloss on. But what I love about this lip color, yes, it does last a long time, and yes, it is actually quite comfortable for a long-lasting lipstick, so it's a lot more comfortable than a liquid lipstick, for example. I just love this shade. It is the most beautiful orange tone red. It is more orange than something like Lady Danger. I think it's a little bit more red than Morange, which I love, but I don't like the formula, unfortunately. But it's beautiful. So if you want some orange in your life, a vibrant, bold orange that has a bit of red so it doesn't look too yellow, Renegade is stunning. So that's my old school full face minus the powder of MAC products. Now everything I have on my face I can vouch for. The only things I'm not really invested in, I think the foundation is really good, still very pricey, and I feel like it's quite similar to a recent Maybelline one that came out with the purple lid that I really like. So I'd prefer to save my money there. The bronzers aren't really for me, and the mascara can be a bit clumpy. They're the only things that I would say, like little asterisks. Everything else I love and I would keep using. If you were a beginner when it came to MAC and you weren't sure where to put your money, I would say my favorite areas, I've mentioned it, these pot products. So the Paint Pot and the Fluidline, if you will use them, they are great investments. And yeah, I will keep buying them even if they're not on sale, even if they're not on discount, I'll keep buying them. I also think Soft and Gentle is a classic for a reason. It is a stunning highlighter. I would also say look at their lip products. They've got a big range of different lip products. You don't need to necessarily buy this color in this range, but there are sheerer ones, there are more hydrating ones, there are creamy mattes, there are everything you want, and I think that they're stunning. And some of my all-time favorite lipsticks are from MAC. And that's it zoomed out. So all glam and nowhere to go. Story of my life. Let me know in the comments what your favorite MAC products are. They could be discontinued, they could still be available, whatever it happens to be. It could be limited edition. And a big thank you to my members for supporting my channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this old school tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.